Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make homemade Play-Doh. This is an older batch I made from about a month and a half ago. Oop, it fell. It still works quite nice, but it is starting to get a little bit old, so I decided to show you guys how to make a new one. Now before we start, I absolutely have to say a few things. Number one, if you are a kid, please ask your parent to ask if you're allowed to make it. By a kid, I mean if you live under your parents' roof, please ask, because I don't want you guys getting in trouble. 2, ask a parent for a safe bowl that's good to use, that can get dirty, if can be thrown away if possible, if you need to be, if something goes wrong. 3, just don't do this by yourself if you're younger, because if you're maybe under the age of 10, I'll say, please ask your parent to help you, because it can get a bit messy. One last one, please ask your parents for you, use all the ingredients, and if you're having trouble following them, make sure you can always pause the video and go back and figure out what you need to do. I would prefer a bowl, but I do not have a bowl that I can use right now, so we're gonna use this one. Here's some flour. I don't have exact measurements, but however little you want to use, that's what you add. However, if you want a little bit, you add a little. If you want a lot, you add a lot. Again, you can always add more, so please try not to use so much. Here's as much as I added, about a cup, I guess I'd say. Good amount. Next, you want some salt. This is just Himalayan salt. I don't know if it works on every type of salt, but I assume so. So now you open your little salt jar. I have to open it because I have a jar full of salt, and then you grab some. For the amount I have, you always want to add a little under half of what flour you have. So I'm gonna add the amount of flour I have, a little less than half, I'll say. But I like to add as many. I like to add some as I go because I don't want to use too much because you can't take it back. But I also don't want to use too little. But it's okay to use too little because you can always add more. So we're just adding some salt, and I'll bring you guys back when I'm done. This is about as much as I used of salt, and this is the flour. This is the flour. This is the salt. And now you want to add a teensy bit of water. Only use a little bit as you go because again, it can overpower. So add a little bit of water in, and we're gonna mix as we add the water. I honestly like to use my hands while doing this because it just feels so nice. But you can use a spoon. I don't have any plastic forks or spoons, which I recommend using, so you don't have to dirty out any dishes. But you can. It won't hurt you. Also, the type of Play-Doh I'm using, I wouldn't recommend eating it. I don't think I need to say that, but some people on here might eat it. So if you're younger, so please do not eat Play-Doh. It wouldn't kill you, but please do not eat it. I of course always mess this up, but I had to grab more flour because mine was too watery. So if yours is too watery, add some more flour. This gets messy, so like I said, always ask. Go to part 2. I might just make this into it. Okay guys, welcome to part 2 of this. I realized I added a little too much flour. This is not going as it usually does. I've actually made this multiple times. I don't really mess it up, but I'm gonna add a little bit of water as well as a little bit more salt since I have more flour. Now I guess continue to mix it all. Try to use all your resources, try to switch flour and stuff like that, and so continue to add it until it gets dry. And then if you run out, I always like to add a little bit on the end to kind of mix it in and get it nice. So you'll see that in a minute. Now you want to get a little bit of flour and then just dust the bottom of it. Don't use too much. I know by experience it makes it too clumpy, and then you have to start over if it gets too hot, because then you have to do what I did and add more water and then eventually add more flour. So now I put it there, and then I kind of just play with it. Let me sit back down. And you just kind of play with it, folding it into the flour. When you put it into there, it should be a little moist, damp. It shouldn't be like dry though. This is a good consistency. It's like a doughish, pretty much like dough. If you ever made pizza dough, it's a little bit drier than that, but you still want it to be slightly moist. Because I'm going to add food coloring or paint, paint to make it a certain color. If you use food coloring, I guess you could say it's edible. You wouldn't die from it. I still recommend eating it though because that's disgusting. It's really salty. If you're gonna add paint and you don't have food coloring like me, I definitely don't recommend you do so because that is not good. You cannot eat. Don't eat Play-Doh, guys. Just don't eat it. I shouldn't have to say that. Don't eat Play-Doh. You keep mixing it in until it's still a wee bit moist, but not like super duper dry, but not super duper wet. So if you ever play with Play-Doh, sort of that texture, but because it's like not all the ingredients they use, it's like the best way to describe it is dough, just dough. I don't know how to explain it, but like wet and moist enough, but also a little bit drier, but not too dry, or else it's not moldable. You should know because when you clump it up like this, it doesn't cribble or like crack. I'm gonna dust that excess bit to the side. Now we add this. Don't come for me. I don't know what orange and yellow makes, but we're gonna add this into the middle. I just think it'd be like a nice color. I used green last time, so I think this would be like a fun color. Orange and yellow. Oof. So we're gonna add that into the middle, and then I'm gonna show you how to mix it. And guys, you wanna do the exact same thing for how you made this. You kind of just gradually add it, and then you fold it so you don't get your hands all dirty. If you want, you can wear gloves. I definitely recommend wearing gloves if you don't like touching things like this. I personally don't, but I do not have any gloves, and I probably would not use gloves for this, just in my opinion, because you do super clean and stuff. But yeah, if you don't like the texture of this, you can always use gloves. Here you are, and you should see that there's still kind of like those little clay parts, so you want to keep adding some, and then when it starts to get more filled up, that's when you stop. And this is why I said not to use all your flour, because you need some more flour to kind of, after you mix this in. If you're welcome to part 3, we're just continuing to mix this in, and I'll kind of update you after the 4th bowl. This in a second. Also guys, if you are using paint like me, if you don't have food color, I would 100% recommend using kid safe, like washable paint, even if you're an adult, because it does get on your hands, and you do not want orange hands for the rest of the next 2 days. So please trust me on that. Use washable paint. I just keep holding it. Mine is now like a salmon orange on the fold. Again, you guys don't have to use orange and yellow. I just want to show you guys mine. I'm not too satisfied with the finishing product because it's a little bit still too lighter than I wanted to. So I might add just a teensy bit more and go in with the 5th fold. But I will tell you guys when I'm done. You should know you're done because there's no more like clayish colored spots. It's fully covered. Even when you go in the middle, it's fully covered. You shouldn't see any like mixes of colors still in there. It should be a fully solid color, and that's how you know. I did go ahead and turn my filter off, so you guys can see what it kind of looks like a little better. It's like a really dark orange, almost salmon color. It's really nice in my opinion. I really like it. Almost like coral. I don't know, but I really like it. And so now we have our extra little flour we're gonna add in right here, and then put it down, and then we just start playing with it how we did before. Mix it in, fold, and just from there, keep mixing it in all the way. And you should know once it's a nice consistency. It won't be too moist, but it also won't be too dry. It'll be just in the middle. It'll be like nice. You might get a nice pull out of it. It's not completely done, but you shouldn't get too much like slime, obviously, because it's not slime. But you might get like a nice texture mustard, like depending on how much you want it. This is kind of customizable too. You can make it as soft or as dry as you want, but I like to kind of mix it up and make it soft, nice and moist, but also not dry, but not too wet. So that's the best way I can describe it. Alright guys, here's my finishing product. It's very nice. I'm loving it. I actually like it more than this old green one. It was kind of beyond its years, yeah. But this lasts a pretty long time, not too long. It lasts about 1 month and a half if you store it correctly. You can store it in a plastic bag, although I don't recommend because it does not last as long. I recommend it like tying it in the use a jar like this. Also, if you're a kid, make sure you ask your parents what jar they're comfortable using because this is not for food. This is just for playment and enjoyment. So please make sure you ask which jar you can put it in. I like to put it in this nice jar. I kind of put it in something where it's not going to be so much room left, but also it's not crammed. So I'll show you guys when I put mine in. Here's our jar. I'm not sure if this will look as good because you can see this one is a little bit smaller than this one, although it does kind of shrink when it gets older. But it's because of the refinement. This is nice and fresh, nice, fun Play-Doh. This is not as fun old Play-Doh. Now we put it in there. You just want to squeeze it in there. Get it all in there. You hear those bubbles? I don't know if you can hear the little bubbles popping, but make sure you get it all squished in there. Do not leave any pockets in the slime like this or like this. You just want to make sure you get it nice and good. Make sure it's all topped out. No air bubbles at the bottom. It's all tucked in. I love using small mason jars like this because some of them have things like this. You can also put the date in which you created it with a dry erase marker. And then I use this, so it makes like a little seal on it. And then I use the next part. And I screw it. You can also use, whatever tool you have, but this is just my favorite to use because it, holds it so well. And now you have Play-Doh. I do have a few more things to say. Please do not bring this to school if you're not allowed to. If it's like show and tell or something, you can. But ask for your teacher's permission because some teachers, I know I taught my friends how to make this once and they brought it in and they brought it to school and they got in trouble. So that's not fun. I don't want you guys getting in trouble. 2, do not put this on carpet. I know that it's nice. It's really fun to play with, but do not put it on carpet because especially if you're young, mistakes can happen and it can get in your carpet and it might ruin your carpet. 3, again, I said this earlier many times, do not eat Play-Doh. Do not eat it. It's not food. It's not edible. I don't know how to make edible Play-Doh. Maybe I'll research it if you really want me to. But please do not eat this. Lastly, number 4, please remember to watch this video all the way through before you decide to make it and ask your parents. But just know that after this is hard part of the Play-Doh that comes on your hands after. I don't know if this happens to real Play-Doh, but it's like a little sheet, a thin layer, but it's kind of like just from playing with the Play-Doh. Your hands get kind of dry, and it's just from the salt and whatever in the Play-Doh and stuff. I believe, I don't know. It's not harmful to your hands whatsoever, but it does make your hands kind of dry, so make sure to wash your hands every time you're done playing with this, especially if you use paint and stuff like that, because it's not edible. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. Please ask your parents before you make this. I hope you guys have as much fun as you guys did this with me. Please tag me in this and use hashtag make your own Play-Doh at Mealy's World in the description. So thank you guys for watching. Bye. Please get creative, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.